This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike. Talking sixes in the bird gang, that's our life. Competition, we ain't scared, yeah, that's what we like. Win or lose, you know we showing up and we gon' fight. You see we strive for the sky every day that go by. And every single week we screaming fly, eagles fly. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah.
What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, host of the Philly Talk podcast, but today we are here for GOAT Talk podcast. We're going to be talking about the Eagles team building. You saw that out there smacking home runs. And we're going to be talking about the quarterback rankings. We are live on both channels, Lord Brunch's channel, Philly Mike's channel. Hit the like button wherever you're watching, subscribe. We try and do big things. How you doing? And listen, we were late because of me. If you're not, you should know already. I'm the one who always comes late. Come on now, chat.
Bruh, people talk about LB must have took a nap. No, it don't be me, man. I'd be on military time.
He right. He be on it. And we were supposed to do this over the weekend, but there was a lot of stuff going on. But we here to do part two, number 22 to 13. And then the next quarterback rankings will be the top 12. We will see where and who we got, which way, form, or whatever. But LB, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. I can't complain, man. I'm ready to talk about this list, man. A lot. Like I said, a lot of these lists been fake coming out here, but we're gonna do the most accurate job, man. How you been?
I'm chilling. I agree. And again, I love the way we're doing it. We're doing 32 to 23, then we're doing 22 to 13, then we're doing 12 to 1, and then we're gonna look at our list and say, all right, tell me why you got it here, this, that, and the third, and we're going to do it. So there's a lot of rough drafts. That's what people forget to do. They just want to sit down 1 hour, make their list,
right?
But you got to let things marinate for it to be right. It can't be rushed. That's why it's a 3-piece, actually a 4-piece series, all said and done.
Right, because on that 4th video, we're going to give y'all the entire meat and potatoes. We're going to give it to you all in one whop. The finalized list. There's going to be some discrepancies in both of our lists, but we're going to come together and we're going to finalize the list. You know what I mean? So we can bounce ideas off each other. It's going to be good. Trust me.
It is going to be good. With that being said, the Eagles had some team building over the weekend, and we heard some spicy talk from one of the newest members of the Philadelphia Eagles. He's out there with his boys. Another wide receiver one, which he considers Devontae is as good as he respects his game that much. And his best friend, Jalen Hurts, he decided to grab the mic and say, get the popcorn ready. Micah Parsons can't stop nothing or can't see nothing, can't do nothing. Something along them lines. How you feel about that early in the offseason?
Yo, when I first heard that, I know he was joking, right? It's like a friendly joke. They was competing, they playing baseball. But we ain't had a guy with the cojones to even joke like that in a minute. You know what I mean? To even joke like that. You know what I mean? We ain't had that guy that brave to do that. Did you see Jalen Hurts' reaction when Jalen Hurts when he did it? Jalen Hurts said, "Oh, he about to go there." Like people couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? And he like, listen, this is what's gonna happen. We coming for blood. You know what I mean? We are coming to perform. We ain't coming to be timid. And I respected it 100%, man. I know it was like some gamesmanship in it. It wasn't that serious, but dog, I respect that type of confidence, bro. You know what I
mean? I agree 100%. That's the alpha dog in him. And again, people taking out of content, you saw how he was doing it. We knew Micah Parsons was there. But again, having that said now, that's going to give Micah Parsons a little edge when we play. And A.J. Brown's going to want to live up to that. And guess who really got to go against Micah Parsons? Jalen Hurts. So as he was right there, as right here, man, I think Jalen Hurts is going to back him up. Shout out to Alam. He said with the $5 super chat, he said, I just got out the gym, bench press 400 to 17 birds. That's the theme all season.
That yard music. Yes, sir.
That's that good stuff right there. LB got to make that GOAT Talk remix sooner or later. A little 30-second.
Listen,
a little snippet.
It's done. Whatever you want me to listen. I like your joint so much. Like I feel like we'd be doing you a disservice. Don't you know how to Trey Songz try to hop in the change the power song? No, sometimes you ain't got to touch it, Mike. Sometimes you ain't got to touch it.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, so looking at what this team has, right? We just went through a big shift, right? The draft, we're coming off that high. The last piece added, which was James Bradbury. I see a couple people looking for an edge rusher. Where are you at in that whole department of just with the 13 mil? Again, it's June 7th, it's June 6th, June 1st just passed. We know we got 13 mil. Are you on the side of keep that and let's see what happens, or make one more move that's just to give a little reinsurance at a position that you feel could use it?
Now, if I had to use it for a position that I felt could use it, I'm definitely thinking more towards the edge because you could just never have a bunch of those guys, man. You know, we was missing it all last season. I don't even want to talk about the stat that I keep talking about. It was so pathetic. Second to last in sacks. You know what I mean? Only ahead of the Falcons. We were terrible in that department. And you got Brandon Graham coming off an injury. You got what's his name? Derek Barnett that you're not that high on. Josh Sweat. Yeah, Josh Sweat did make some things happen. But was it an elite season? 7.5 sacks, that happens. You know what I mean? People do that frequently. You know what I mean? You just don't really have a deep rotation of guys that you could depend on. You're asking the absolute most out of, Brandon Graham coming off an injury, for real. You're going to supplement some of that with Josh Reddick. But I feel like if you had that other third guy that could put in some work, and yeah, I'm talking about Robert Quinn. I would definitely spend the money on a guy like that to solidify this edge. But the smart guy in me is saying, listen, you got to hold it in case you need something for an emergency situation during the season. So, you know what I mean? I'm kind of torn with that one.
Yeah, I think 13 million is that fine line to just, sit back and see what transpires, see how long some of these guys really stay on the market, right? If we're looking at a guy now, just let's say, look at what Steven Nelson wanted last year at this time, and then look what we got him for a month before camp, a month before the dang season started. So that late July, early August, dang, I'm still on the couch, decrease my price in half, and I think that's what Howie is going to do. He feels good about this team, that 13 mil. You don't want to spend, the majority of it. I think you would like to roll some over. I know the cap's going to go up and stuff like that. But again, we will figure out what we got to do with Hurts. We will figure out what quarterback contract will be next. We understand that, the money's going to get deeper for A.J. Brown next year. And I think Howie was super aggressive, but understands that long-term, there is going to be dollars that need to be invested, whether it's Jalen Hurts or someone else. No matter who's playing quarterback, that position is paid at a premium. A premium when you look at the rest of the landscape of positions. Not saying that if Hurts proves something, he's not willing to take a deal that won't make him top 10, top 15. We'll see what all transpires. But I think right now, it's perfect right now. I'm not trying to make no real moves until, I think we have to. And I think Reddick with Graham and Sweat and even Barnett in that role with Milton Williams, Jordan Davis. And again, I think low key, if we're trying to get Jordan Davis on the field as much as JG said, right? The Davis, Fletch, and Hargrave. Hargrave, you don't want him to do it all the time, but he could spend some time, rotate 7 snaps outside alongside of a Davis, Fletch, and Hargrave lineup with, Reddick coming off the edge. I'm not saying all the time, but I think that we're so versatile on the line. We're not going to ask BG to do the snaps he's done in the past, and even Derek Barnett. So you're looking at Reddick and Sweat with a mixture of these guys healthy. I think it's still going to be the D-line we want back in Philly.
Yeah, and you still can't forget about Milton Williams, who could come off the edge as well. I think we're going to see I think we're going to see a heavy dose of him. But also, if you're Howie Roseman, I just don't think you want to just show your cards. Like, everybody's expecting the Eagles to keep making move after move after move. That's what it feels like right now to me. If the Philadelphia Eagles did make another move right now with the $13 million, I think that's way too predictable. Like, sometimes you don't want to show your hand. Like, you know what I mean? At what point do you feel like I really feel comfortable with this roster moving forward? You did a lot. You did a lot of good things this offseason. Like, you just don't want to overdo it. And I feel like that's a real possibility. Like, I feel like, Howie Roseman is so, like, juiced up on making good moves right now. He'll look at Odell Beckham. And do you need another wide receiver? No, you don't. That was really the finishing piece to the offense, was another number one wide receiver. Everything else is good. The running backs performed, the offensive line performed. Now look at the defense. Yeah, you could say safety is a concern, but is it really? Look where PFF graded Marcus Epps. Now let me call him Mike today. You know what I mean? Look where PFF graded Marcus Epps. So do you want to see that play out, or do you want to jump the gun and spend some money? You did amazing things with the linebacking core. The defensive line is just as good as it's looked in the past. You know what I mean? Like, you just got to chill, I think. In short, I think you got to chill.
Yeah, and the crazy part is, I think when we did that stream with me, you, 500, I don't know if it was just the triplet stream or when we did the big one, we talked about what was needed more, a safety or a corner. And at that point, I felt, and people are gonna say you're just saying it now because Bradbury's there, but I said a safety or a corner that is legit. Which one do I need more? I think I need the corner more because I feel I feel better at safety with what we had on there. And Marcus Epps graded now above Ronnie McLeod, above Kevon Wallace, and above Anthony Harris. And now he's going to get some time to now see if he can do that in the longevity of a season, which we will see. With that being said, the Eagles were attacked for the majority of the year in the middle against our linebackers, and Steven Nelson gave up some stuff too. You're going to now bring Bradbury there, which now you have to pick. Am I throwing Bradbury away or Slay? Slay's still the better guy. But today I just did a video, and Bradbury leads the league in breakup passes, most forced interceptions most forced incompletions plus interceptions in the last 2 years. And both these 2 years were played with the Giants. And one of these years, Giant fans and Cowboy fans will tell you he was booty juice. How do you have 39 combined forced incompletions and interceptions if you were playing for a bad franchise and are a bad player? So now Slay might get some more targets his way, which gives him more opportunities for interceptions. The middle's more shored up. The other side is more shored up than it was last year. The safeties are going to have an easier job, especially when you look at what Gannon asks the safety to do. You need 2 TVs to see him, and I hope that does switch up a little bit. But safety is not my concern because of the scheme and the people around them.
I agree. And not only do you got 2 cornerbacks that can cover, you got linebackers that can cover now. N'Kobe Dean can cover. Kaiser White can cover. TJ Edwards can even cover to a nice degree. TJ Edwards is a nice all-around guy. So you got a whole team of guys that can cover and rush the passer, man. You are a good defense. You're a good defense on paper. It got to translate if you Jonathan Gannon, man. And we all know that's the biggest wild card for me, man, because if you can't be great with this defense, my God, you got to get out of town. We might got to fire him mid-season, bro. We might got to fire. We can't play this up. We can't play with nobody during the duration. Like let's let him get the season and say, no, you got to be done. 2-game losers, be bad 2 games in a row. I'm calling for you.
Exactly. And I like how you said it. We are a good team on paper, and I don't see the players not translating. It's up to JG to get it done. King James III with the $2 super chat. He said, I feel how we went all in this offseason. We coming. And I agree. To go all in like this, you can't come out lackadaisical. Now, I do want to get your take on this. We heard in a press conference that Shane Steichen will be the play caller, but it has now came out that he's actually been calling the plays since the middle of the season. The turnaround was credited to Shane Steichen taking over. And if you look at the LA Chargers, what their biggest complaint on him, right? Well, the biggest thing was he does too many screens. We definitely saw that. But the one other thing is that he runs the ball too much. They haven't Justin Herbert. They wanted to throw the ball more. We were okay with the heavy running because a young quarterback and what we had in the offensive line and how deep we were at the running back.
And it was working.
It was working. Again, it's a team effort, but how do you feel it came about Nick Sirianni giving up play calling? Do you think it was more bro, you're 2-5, hand it off? Or do you think Nick Sirianni did it? Do you think it was a management saying or a Sirianni saying? How would you go about that?
I think it was a Sirianni saying. You know what I mean? I truly believe it was a Sirianni saying, because although the Philadelphia Eagles abandoned the run to historic proportions, Nick Sirianni dialed up some really good offensive plays. We just didn't execute. You know what I mean? We absolutely abandoned the run. That shit never happened. But with the amount of throwing that we was doing, you know, some of the plays were actually good. They just were either bad throws or wide receivers not, you know, doing their end of the bargain. So I think Nick Sirianni, I think he took his hands out of the fire. I think he just said, look, I'm the head coach. I don't have to do this. I got somebody that could be doing this. So I think he just handed it off and said, I'm going to focus on the mental development of the team, like team bonding activities. I'm going to focus on that. The final word's still going to come through me, but I'm gonna make sure that I'm the best coach that these guys ever had from just a non-football aspect. I don't think he totally checked out from like making football decisions, but I really think Nick Sirianni's, his strong suit anyway is just being the man of the people in terms of, doing things with the team, exercises, what have you be. I think he gave it up, and I think he just, said, I'm gonna let the chips fall that way. I think he gave it up.
Yeah. I heard on the radio today, both sides. One was arguing the case that he was told to give it up, and the other one was that he gave it up. I definitely side that he gave it up. And again, not being a play caller is not the end of the world. There's so much that goes on in a game through all the position groups coming to you with this, that, and the third, managing in the team in the, down and distance. What are we going to do? Best case scenario, personnel, which offensive coordinators do that too, but it's a total team effort. And Shaitan still said that once he took play calling duty, it still was a collaborative effort, and they're in total communication throughout on the sideline. But it's not Nick Sirianni's exact job to be in the play sheet like that. He can actually see what's on the field and now, switch the game up if he sees things going away. So Shane Steichen is calling the plays. Steichen looking for that next play. Sirianni's letting him go do his thing. Sirianni sees that we keep looking, the left side's open. Blah, 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 blah. So now they can stay in communication, and I ain't mad at it.
He's literally
crucial down, fourth down. I think Nick Sirianni's coming in and making a big time play there.
I agree. He's literally operating like a general now. Nick Sirianni. He is letting it. Exactly. He's passing down power, and if he sees something not looking right, he's going to step in and do what he has to do as the the head coach of the football team. So I'm happy with the decision. When this thing decided to split up during week 7, or whenever the change occurred, I thought it was Nick Sirianni the whole time. So this was kind of news to me that it was Shane Steichen. I gave Nick Sirianni a lot of credit for changing up his game plan like that. I thought he was still calling the plays. So some of that credit do got to go to Shane Steichen. Now, if we running the ball at this magnitude with A.J. Brown, I'm going to have a problem with that. I think the passing has to increase, but the screen passes got to decrease. You know what I mean? You got to take more shots downfield. You got a lot of amazing wide receivers. You got to put them in position to catch the ball or give them a chance to catch the ball. Now, the thing that I'm hearing out of camp about Jalen Hurts is that Jalen Hurts is doing a good job of giving his guys a chance to get the ball. You know what I mean? Don't you know how sometimes it felt like Jalen Hurts just throwing a bad pass and the defense had a better chance at the pass than anybody? He's giving his guys a chance to catch the ball. And that's all you got to do with guys like Smitty and A.J. Brown. Give them a chance.
Yeah, even Goddard, Goddard we saw down the stretch be one of his favorite targets. And I don't quote me on this, but he had over 100 passer rating when targeting Goddard down the stretch of the season. Again, we're talking about, 6 games he targeted Goddard, 16 times. I'm just throwing it out there. And so we're grading it only off that. We're not talking about all the other throws, but, I think, we had, when you look at this offense now with A+ on the one side, A+ on the other side, and I'm not sleeping on Goddard at all. We all talked about it throughout the season. He got to make the easy catches, but by no means is he's not afraid to go up there and get the ball, run through people, block, do all the dirty work. And I'm excited for him to now have his first real season as tight end 1. Remember, he was still playing the second fiddle for half that season. Now he finally got the bag in the rain and a quarterback that was looking at him at the end of the season. I think he's going in really excited.
Yeah, I agree. It's the way the offense is constructed, this should be a heavy play action team. I think guys should be fair in what the offensive line is doing at points in the game in terms of moving people off of their block and moving people off of their spot and creating these lanes for Miles Sanders, who I think is due for a breakout year. Kenneth Gainwell, Miles Sanders didn't score last year. I would bet a lot of money he scored week 1. I would bet that's the emphasis of the team to get him in the end zone. Miles Sanders is going to eat this year. He's heard it all. I ain't doing this. I ain't doing that. So with all of these things happening around Dallas Goedert, he should definitely find himself in some favorable matchups, man. You know what I mean? And I think Dallas Goedert got the tools. He's getting paid like a top 3 tight end or a top 4 tight end, whatever it is. And he is that, I believe. So, I'm excited for Goedert as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's not too many holes in this offense. And the one guy that we got to see put this offense over the top is Jalen Hurts. We got to see where he ranks amongst the other quarterbacks. Speaking of that, let's get into the quarterback ranking. We'll pull this up and go through it again. If you are new to this whole quarterback rankings. What we did is last time on Go Talk, which is on both channels, if you go back and check, we did the last quarterback 32 all the way down to number 23. That's what we did for that one. Today we're going to do 22 to 13. Next episode is 12 to 1. And after we do all that, we are going to talk amongst ourselves, come up with a final copy of 32
all
to
32.
1. We're dropping it for you guys. And again, if LB got somebody at 17 and I got him at 12, well, then we're going to behind the scenes.
We're going to have to meet somewhere in the middle. Yeah.
We're going to, why do you think that? Why do you think that? Because we didn't talk to each other about why we have people here. So we're doing it live in front of you. And then when all it's done, we're going to come back and we are going to say, stamp this. You agree? I agree. Boom. This is Go Talk. Final copy.
Final copy.
And so let me pull up number 22 through 13. And it's about to get crazy. If I can get it, it's right here. Hold up. And there we go.
Yes, sir.
So LB's going to start off at 22. LB got Mac Jones. I got Jared Goff. Explain to Mac Jones at 22.
I'm really high on Mac. I've been high on Mac since college. My thing with Mac is I look up and I see Jared Goff. I can't really put him over guys that have been in the Super Bowl. It's hard because you could have a sophomore slump. You know what I mean? But Mac Jones is in a terrific system. I think anybody on this list, you know what I mean, would thrive in that system over there with Bill Belichick. But, I just got to see a little more from Mac Jones. He ain't in the bottom 10, so that's good. He did make it to the playoffs. He did have a good season as a rookie. I just got to see a little more from Mac Jones. I've seen a lot from a lot of these guys on this list. Mac has shown me the least, so I got to go with Mac.
Yeah, I got Jared Goff there, which you're not too far behind because Jared Goff is coming up for you. Goff showed me he can get to the Super Bowl when, he has everything at his fingertips. I think we saw the best of Jared Goff. I think what you see in the latter part of his career is who he is, similar to Carson Wentz. Look at that season where Carson Wentz catapulted us to number 1 seed. Nick Foles took over. That Jared Goff season was beautiful, but it hasn't been beautiful since. I think Mac Jones in his first year, overcame a lot, got the job. And although you like the system that he's in, he don't got crazy weapons over there. And he was able to get things done over there in New England. And I just think that's where I got him. But we're not talking about Mac Jones for me because I got him a little higher. But Jared Goff, to me, shown that he's who he is in the latter part of his career. And so until he does something with the Dan Campbell-led Lions, I'm going to keep him still, outside the top 20.
I got Jared at 21. You got Jameis at 21. So for me, Jared Goff being at 21, it's kind of exactly where you got him. It's for the same reasons, but I just think Jared Goff got more in the tank than what you think. You think he done? I think Jared Goff is going to have another spurt, another good 3 years to where he showed that he could be a top guy. I think it's going to come. I think it's going to happen for him. He was in some bad circumstances last year. They didn't have no wide receivers over there. They were heavily relying on a rookie offensive lineman that they draft Penny Sewell. They're heavily relying on a lot of young guys over there. They have no stars on the team. Like they made a star out of the tight end. You know what I mean? And I still can't remember his name. They have no stars on the team. So
Hockenson.
Yeah, I expected. Yeah, right, Hockenson. I like TJ Hockenson. And you know what I mean? I expected Jared Goff to struggle last year. Now they went out there and they drafted a wide receiver for him. Everybody was high on that guy, Jameis Williams, and I think he's going to bounce back. I think they definitely going to win more games than they did last year.
Well, look, he has the opportunity to with this new
that division got trash all of a sudden.
Yeah, it did. But again, I agree. I think Lion fans are bullish on Dan Campbell and they like the way it's going. With that being said, it's still the Lions to me. And knowing the Lions franchise, I'm on that what can go wrong. They on that Dallas Cowboys stuff for me. So I think, Jared Goff showed he could thrive with the Rams. I haven't seen it with the Lions, although they might be much improved. It's more of a wait and see for me. But that's why I didn't leave him with the other guys. The tier 23 to 32. I think Goff, still is a middle of the pack, little less type quarterback. And 22 to 17, where we got somebody that we're going to talk about. I think you can pick holes in a lot of that stuff. But you got him at 21, Jameis Winston. played 7 games, had 14 touchdowns. He was the opposite of Tampa Bay, Jameis Winston. Instead of throwing for 300, 400 yards and a bunch of picks, he was only throwing for 150, 200, 180. But he was excellent in the red zone under Sean Payton. He got hurt. I don't know how he's going to be off the injury. And again, what Jameis Winston are we going to get? Under Sean Payton, he was efficient. Now they got Dennis Allen, a defensive coach. I don't know what the play call is going to look like. And Jameis has always been a guy that if you let off the ropes a little bit, he'll get you 30 touchdowns, but also 30 picks. And picks are big time killers in a game of football. So I got him at 21.
I got Jameis at 20. You got Matt Ryan at 20. I got Jameis at 20 because I feel like Jameis really showed a lot of development. Now, that was like his 6th year last year, or his 5th year or something like that. Jameis showed a lot of development. Like this, the Jameis Williams that they wish they would have got from day one, the way he played last year in those first 7 weeks. I mean, he was on time. He didn't rush. He was throwing guys open. Yeah, he didn't throw for a lot of yards. But when you got Alvin Kamara and you got like a lot of other people helping you out, you just ain't needed to do that. All he had to do was show up in the red zone, and that's what he did. Now, it sounds like he should be higher when I sell him good things. The reason why he's 20 is because Jameis Winston has been a bum way longer than he had that one good 7-game stretch. You know what I mean? Jameis Winston has shown unfathomable amounts of picks. You know what I mean? It just don't happen often, some of the picks that he was throwing. And he had a keen sense for throwing multiple picks in the game, just being a gunslinger and not using his head. Hopefully the coaching rubbed off on him, but I think 20 is the perfect spot for Jameis Winston.
Yeah, and that's why, we got him, a pick or two
right,
away.
In similar spots,
And definitely Winston probably has the better potential, but what I saw from Matt Ryan last year with a really bad team, is probably, now him going to the Colts, where again, let's just look at the Colts situation. Phillip Rivers able to get the Colts to the playoffs. Then Carson Wentz comes in, had a decent season, but big games were his problems. They end up losing. Now you're going to get a guy who resembles Phillip Rivers, a guy on the end of his career, just looking to make the right plays, manage the game, and let the Colts team play good around him. He got one of the best running backs in the game, and I think Matt Ryan with a run game, play action, he's going to be able to do some things. So I got Matt Ryan at 20. Again, you think of Matt Ryan, you think of Matty Ice. He's not that anymore. But he's going to have an opportunity to go to a new team. You see all these old quarterbacks doing that right now, and most of the time it pays off. It didn't pay off for Carson Wentz. We'll see how it pays off for Matt Ryan, but I got Matt Ryan at 20, and you got Jameis Winston at 20. This is the first time we have the same one so far. Carson Wentz on our list, both at 19. Give me why you got Carson Wentz just inside the top 20.
It makes sense. I mean, it's exactly where he should go. Carson Wentz has been up and down a lot. That's where you would put somebody at 19, somebody who showed inconsistency. Carson Wentz has bounced around teams the last couple years. We got to find out if Carson Wentz can be that guy again that can get closer to 10 rather than closer to 30. You know what I mean? And Carson Wentz never really had bad ending season stats, except for that season we went 4-12. He was horrid in that season. But, when Carson Wentz is playing winning football, Carson Wentz is around 27 touchdowns, 7 picks. You know what I mean? He's consistently that guy. And you could win with a guy that does stuff like that. Carson Wentz's issue has now become big games. And, health has been behind him. He's been fairly healthy the last 2 years. I just think Carson Wentz needs some confidence. He needs somebody that's going to believe in him at this point. Because, bouncing around like that can destroy your guy. But I think over there in Washington, I think that they're going to let him play his game. And he's also playing with the best wide receiver he's ever played with. So, Carson Wentz could end up in the top 10 at the end of the season. He's shown that type of potential. But as of right now, 19 is where you go, pal.
Yeah. I think you said it all. I think, the aura of Wentz has me, really cringy when I hear his name and think about what he's going to do for a franchise. Watching the Colts go to the playoffs with Phillip Rivers, him retire, and Carson not be able to get it done. Now, there was some trials and tribulations throughout the season, that affected them. But again, winning football games for your team at the quarterback position, you get the bulk of the success and the failure, whether your numbers are good or bad. And I think that Carson Wentz is a guy where the clutch gene is starting to fall away. He's a guy that is starting to look average, And I say average because one throw is immaculate, and then the other throw is like, what are you doing? That superhero mentality never really left him. And so I just got to see, like, that whole Winston, Ryan, Wentz is hard for me because I can see Ryan being better only because of the Colts. I can see Winston proving that with a stable organization, he could be a good quarterback. However, I think one of the reasons he was 5-2, as Dave Does said, and I told you 14 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, but he was being more of a game manager, was because of Sean Payton. And yes, you're going to get some key offensive players back, but if you don't got the mastermind calling the plays and saying, Winston, I'm in your head, listen, we don't need the 40-yard touchdown. We just need the first down. I don't know how the play call and all that's going to go for him. So, Winston, Ryan, and Wentz are hard because 2 of them are on a new team. And to me, Winston's on a new team because he only played 7 games with that team. As you said, if you're asking me Tampa Bay Winston, he's outside the top 21. But 7 games, can I really go off that? Can't. Carson Wentz and Ryan are on new teams, so it's hard for me to judge. And I hate the Washington football team. And I think that organization knows how to lose games too. So I'm just putting them in that category. Here we go with number 18, though. Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan slipped there for you. I got Mac Jones. What do you got for Matt Ryan?
I think Matt Ryan, I'm not going to say he got more left in the tank. I think Matt Ryan still could play at a high level, though. You know what I mean? So a lot of people think Matt Ryan was kind of just bad the last couple of years. The team was bad, man. They had no defense for a very long time. Up until last year, Matt Ryan had 3,900 passing yards. Matt Ryan has thrown for over 4,000 passing yards 10 straight years. 10 straight years. And last year he had 3,968, almost 11 years in a row. Matt Ryan has had an above 90 quarterback rating since 2016. Every season. Matt Ryan could play, man. It's just that Julio was never available for him. You know what I mean? It's just that the defense was horrible at one point. And also last year, we the only team that had more sacks than them. The Falcons were trash last year. The Falcons was trash the year before that and the year before that. I just think, and then look at the division you in. The Bucks gonna curb stomp you every year. Your team trash. You know what I mean? The Bucks gonna stomp you out. The Saints gonna stomp you out. Who else in there? Carolina. I mean, Christian McCaffrey gonna do what he wants to you. You know what I mean? Your team just not good. So I think Matt Ryan. I think the Colts gonna make the playoffs with Matt Ryan.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna make the playoffs.
And again, and that is why it was a struggle for me to really look at the Ryan and the Wentz and even Winston, because all these three quarterbacks are pretty much to me on a new team. Minus Winston got 7 games under the belt, and it's tough. But I can honestly say that we just saw Phillip Rivers at his last go take the Colts to the playoffs, and they're not much different, if not better, with Jonathan Taylor being that GOAT, that bell cow back. So maybe I did low-key push Matt Ryan a little bit down, but I got Mac Jones here for the same reason. He impressed me. I wasn't. You were on him. You were high. You were heavy on him throughout the draft. I always gave him respect, but I wasn't nowhere near like you coming out the draft. But I saw a couple of bad games from him, but through the adversity, he stuck with it, and I never thought he had weapons. Yeah, he got Bill Belichick and McDaniels, who won't be there this year. But I just saw a lot of great, solid plays by Mac Jones and him do things throughout the season to, get the Patriots to the playoffs. And a lot of these guys, Mac Jones, playoffs got beat. Hurts, playoffs got beat. Carr, playoffs got beat. But they did get their team in there, and you got to credit them for that. And I'm bullish on Mac Jones going into year 2 and just being that steward of the game. He's not going to make the incredible throw, but he's just going to slowly, methodically get you down the field. And that's kind of Bill Belichick's mantras with Tom Brady all them years. And who knows, he could be a person of the system. But I'm high on Mac Jones, and I got him at 18.
He does exactly what Bill Belichick wants you to do. He stands in the pocket and tries to make the right throw every time he drops back. He's rarely trying to run. He takes hits standing in that pocket sometimes, and he still delivers some pretty good balls. So I understand why you bullish on Mac. I already know Mac gonna have to come up on the final list. I ain't gonna even fight you on that. I know Mac gonna have to come up. I know he is.
All right. So here we go. Number 17. This is where we got our guy Jalen Leaping Hurts. Let me hear it.
so much goes into why he's 17. I don't know if people going to think this high or low, but I think this is perfect for him. We know Jalen Hurts is a dual threat. We know he's still got to work on his arm. Listen, anybody in this list for real, either you too old or you're on the downside or you still got to work on your game. You know what I mean? Basically, everybody on my side, that's the situation. And Jalen Hurts is no exception to that. But I think Jalen Hurts has a team around him that's going to make him look way better than he looked last year. And I think that, once you look better, you basically are better. You know what I mean? I think he's going to just play better and perform better than what he did last year.
Hey, real quick. And I don't know if you did this because you would have told me if you did it. You would already said it. But it's funny, though. 17 birds.
Oh, damn. He is at 17. But yeah, I just think it's the perfect place for him. I mean, he's matured throughout the season. He's gotten better. He showed progression. I think the progression will continue to show for Jalen Hurts during the course of the season. He has no way but to go up. My mindset. If he can't be better than what he was last season, and listen, you don't have to be drastically better. If he can't just be better, if he can't continue to improve with this roster, you know what I mean? There's no hope for him.
Yeah, and my thing with Jalen Hurts is, he took a pretty close team that was, just down in the dumps and did something with it. And again, we're going to say the run game was a staple of it, but so was he, right? A lot of people say, how do you trust your running backs? Because take Hurts yards away and you guys are not that good at running the ball. And so, yes, is that what we want? Huh?
That doesn't even make sense. I hate when people say that.
Yeah, well, I'm saying that's how important Hurts was as a player. And a lot of people are looking at it. Well, what did he do as a quarterback? 16 touchdowns, blah, blah, blah. You got to look at the totality of what he can do. This is a different league. And yes, he's not going to be able to run all the time, but you can't knock him for that. You still got to factor that in as production, as importance. Just say the game's on the line. Say he was able to, go through the storm of a important game. And now it's fourth quarter, 3 minutes left, and it's the rushing ability that gets us the dub. You can't say, well, he's not that good of a quarterback. But no, he won us the game. He's a player. He's a playmaker. And I think that is why he's able to have this type of arm and still get production, because his legs and his clutchness and his decision-making in crucial time is really good. And it's going to give him time to develop that arm, which we slowly saw in year 2, which is really year 1 starting. And now year 2, I got him at 17. And my whole thing was this: when I saw the quarterback rankings from good old Chris Sims, I said my raw natural thing, that I'm not trying to say Jalen Hurts is top 15. I said, you can argue him between 17 and 22. And that was me raw talking about Chris Sims' list, not really going. I never had nothing planned to say about Hurts. It just flowed out. And I said 17 to 22. And yes, I put him on the early side of my one-time prediction. I think that you got to factor in rushing. We can't just look at Lamar Jackson as a top quarterback in this league. If you take his legs away, well, guess what? He's outside the top 20. Maybe with Jalen Hurts too, but that is a factor of his game, and it's going to give him time to progress as a passer.
I'm glad you said that, because you can't call Mark. You cannot say, well, I just forget his damn name. You cannot say Lamar Jackson is elite. Right. You cannot say Lamar Jackson is elite and Lamar Jackson is top 10 if you don't want to consider Jalen Hurts' running ability. You can't. It's the same thing. What makes Lamar Jackson great and spectacular is that the same that makes Jalen Hurts dynamic. You know what I mean? Now, obviously, Lamar Jackson is on a different level, but you're right. You got to factor in everything about Jalen Hurts. You got to factor in him continuing to progress. You got to factor in how dangerous he is with his legs. Teams game plan for that. Once he decides to beat them mentally, once he decides to play the chess game and start beating these guys that's game planning for him to run outside the pocket with his arm, then they're going to have to bring guys off of the edge and stop the containment on them. What happens when you stop the containment on a guy that's already naturally fast and can run? Once you don't have contain and he gets out, it's 30-yard gains he breaking off now. Because you didn't even plan for contain, because he could beat you with his arm too. So he just got to catch up to what the game is doing. So 17 is the perfect spot for Jalen Hurts. Not mad at it at all.
Yeah, and one more thing on that. Again, this year, I dare teams to throw 8 in the box. I dare teams to really say we're going to make the Eagles pass, because last year it was Devontae Smith, it was Jalen Reagor still getting snaps, in a younger version, in a younger, more inexperienced, which he was still good throughout the season, but Quez Watkins learned and grew from that last season for sure. So you're talking about a supporting cast in the passing game that was not nowhere near what we got now, because Rager is not only the third receiver, he's off the field. So you pretty much, you got Devontae, you're really just changing Rager for AJ Brown in a sense, Goddard being the guy now, and now you stack 8 in the box. Hurts is going to be able to beat man coverage. We saw Devontae get bracketed. You can't do that. You're going to have one of these guys are going to be man coverage. And then, as you said, what are we seeing in camp? He's giving an opportunity to the receiver. So, again, the thing is going to be said this. When and if Jalen Hurts balls out early in the season, it's going to be a lot of people saying, well, look at the box, look at the box. Well, that is why they have to stack the box, because we are the number 1 rushing team.
They're not smart enough. They're not smart enough to say, look at the box.
What they're going to,
yeah, something like 3 people out of 3,000. This what they going to do, Mike. This, especially Cowboys fans, they going to say y'all ain't play nobody. That's what they going to say. They're going to say that our schedule was easy. That's why he performed.
You're right. So we both got Jalen Hurts at 17. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky, because 16 right under Jalen Hurts. And this was the main reason I said I would not trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. Is he better than Jalen Hurts right now, right today? Yeah, but to me, he's only one quarterback better with the arm and the totality of his game. I got Jimmy G there because he's a quarterback that, to me, that you can win with, but you got to have dynamic plays all around. And again, I'm with LB on in the sense of, I'm not going to discount him because he has a good team, but I'm going to put in perspective that if I'm looking at what I think he's going to do and who is he as a quarterback, I got him. I always said Jimmy G is not horrible, but he's a middle of the pack, and I got him one quarterback outside 50-50. So I got him at 16, Jimmy G. How about your 16 number?
I got Kyler Murray right there for me. I mean, where else would I put him? Honestly, man, listen, if we being all the way 100, man, I don't think Kyler Murray is top 10. Listen, I'm not trying to come down on Kyler Murray. I just think Kyler Murray is average. I do. I just think he's average. I don't think he's top 10. I just don't see it. He's been in the game. This is his 4th season coming up, right? Wasn't last year a contract year?
This is
last year was a contract year.
Yeah. Well, no, because he's a 1st-round pick, so yeah, the 5th-year option can be played, and then they can wait.
But usually, if they like you, they getting it done. This the year they get it done after this year if they like you. Hasn't happened for a reason. I've never seen a quarterback.
Dak Prescott either, though.
But Dak Prescott wasn't a 1st-round pick, and they didn't held Dak Prescott a top 10 talent. Dak Prescott actually had to develop. This guy, 1st overall, right?
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. 1st overall pick. Everything under the sun. People still saying he a top 10 talent. I never seen a guy with this much pristine and all the red carpet laid out for him not have a 4,000-yard season going into a contract year. I never seen a guy play 3 seasons in the passing league going into a contract year, expect big money all the time while not throwing for a 4,000 passing yard season. He's still got a lot of developing to do. Now, he's an amazing talent. I got him 1 above Jalen Hurts because I think he's better than Jalen Hurts. I think he's better than everybody on the list. That's potential-wise. But can he throw better than Jameis Winston? No, he cannot. He cannot throw a football better than Jameis Winston. You know what I mean? He cannot throw a football better than Matt Ryan when Matt Ryan was in his prime. You know what I mean? I just see an average quarterback who's using his legs a lot, just like a lot of quarterbacks do when they can't read a defense yet. So it is what it is. I think that's a perfect spot. I don't think it's disrespectful. I think it's the spot for Kyler Murray based upon what he's shown.
Yeah, well, look, as you can tell on my list, I don't have Kyler Murray on here. So he'll be on the next episode, and we'll talk about that. But like I said, my take on Kyler Murray is that, we'll get to where it is. But like I said, for Jimmy G, to me, he's done a lot. Super Bowl appearance, NFC Championship appearance. But I just say, like, in them appearances, in that loss, it's like, there's plays left on the field that I'm like, maybe somebody else would have made. Like that Super Bowl, again, a deep ball is a deep ball. It's not that easy. But the way Emmanuel Sanders was running wide open, I mean, the chief defender was 5 yards. I'm talking, I could have parked my car, and Jimmy G just missed him, and there was no pressure. I understand if Jimmy G threw off the back foot, it was one of them things where Jimmy G just grabbed his helmet like, bro, I think I lost the game. So Jimmy G, you know, he's working his way up. He is a winner. I just, you know, I think he's middle of the pack. I think you've seen the best of Jimmy G. To me, Kyler Murray was showing you. Like, if we did this list week 8, Kyler Murray would have been higher.
This my thing, Mike.
He crumbled. He crumbled.
We seen the best of Jimmy G, but the best of Jimmy G got him in the Super Bowl. Like, I need that best of you to do that. You know what I mean? What's Jimmy G record with Jimmy G starting? We like 33-14 or something like that.
Yeah, he has a tremendous record when he's there.
What's their record when he ain't there? They buns when he ain't there, bro. When CJ Beathard and all of them guys, right? They under 500. You know what I mean? So I think Jimmy. Go ahead.
No, and that's why I would say, and that's the difference between the 16th best quarterback, and if you're looking at CJ Beathard and all them guys, they're number 56. You know what I mean?
That's a good way to put that.
So like, and that's why I say
that's a good way to put
credit Jimmy G, and 16 out of the whole 32 to me is still pretty good. I seen Jimmy G make the right play. That's why I got
Kyler right there.
Hey, I ain't mad, but somebody did say we got to factor Kyler Murray scrambling if we going to talk about Hurts and Lamar's, because he's big time that too. That baseball in him.
But that's why he's 16. What you want me to do?
Yeah, I ain't mad at it. And I can't give my full take on Kyler to the next episode. And listen, guys, he's not in the top 10, but so now you know he's
12. He is 12, bro. He got to be next. He got to be.
He might. So let's get side. Now here we are at 15. So LB had Kyler right outside the midway point. This is where we get the middle of the pack. Exactly. What am I talking about? 16 is in the middle. It's 32. I'm tripping. Right. So he's exactly in the middle, and I got Jimmy G. We both have the same 15 and 14. And I really want to hear why you have him, because I have a good explanation too. But I think we're on the same page. Ryan Tannehill 15, Kirk Cousins 14. We'll do them both at the same time. Give me your take, because we got the exact same 15 and 14.
Right. But look, Ryan Tannehill is a good quarterback. You know what I mean? He's a good quarterback, and he knows how to manage good teams. Ryan Tannehill also he could beat you with his arm. He could scramble. Ryan Tannehill is very, very versatile. He's just a little older, and it just took him a longer time to catch on. I think Ryan Tannehill's, at the age that he's at and being able to perform still is pretty impressive, if you ask me. I think Ryan Tannehill was plug and play into almost any offense in the National Football League. I think you could plug Ryan Tannehill. If we had Ryan Tannehill as our quarterback, they'd be talking Super Bowl, bro. You know what I mean? Ryan Tannehill will work with Bill Belichick. He would work over there in the Saints. Ryan Tannehill will work in Dallas. Ryan Tannehill is an upgrade in Chicago. I think it's a great spot for Ryan Tannehill. This is a very serviceable quarterback. You want me to do Kurt too?
Yeah.
Again, Kirk Cousins is a serviceable guy. It's basically the same thing as Ryan Tannehill. When you look at Kirk Cousins' stats during the duration of his career, it's very impressive. A lot of 4,000-yard passing seasons in there. A lot of 30-touchdown seasons in there. Kirk Cousins can throw the ball.
33 touchdowns last season he had. I think only 7 interceptions. 33 and 7 last year.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And he's also used to playing with bona fide studs at the wide receiver position. I just think sometimes I actually don't even think the moment is too big for Kurt. I just think Kurt just on a team that's not as talented, and they always run into good teams in the regular season and the postseason. I think if you put Kurt over there with the Rams, I think you get the same result that Stafford got. You know what I mean? I think Kirk Cousins could really ball, so that's why he's there for me.
Yeah, see, when I look at Ryan Tannehill, I think he always had potential. I think when he got matched up with Adam Gase, it was a total disaster because Adam Gase is a nut. I've always seen a little bit of potential in Ryan Tannehill, and when he went to the Titans and you managed him, he threw the ball more than Jalen Hurts did, even though they had Henry back there. But you managed them. They had a crowd of 8 in the box. They had some good receivers, a la A.J. Brown, and he did the most. I mean, he had a 30-touchdown season, I think the first year with Tennessee or close to it. He gets the yards. I think Tannehill is better than middle of the pack, and that's why he's right there. I think Jimmy G, Tannehill are kind of similar. I would say Jimmy G and Tannehill are similar. Just I think that you're safer with Tannehill. Tannehill has had less, to me, the majority is in career than what Jimmy G had. With that being said, Tannehill was just in the AFC Championship game and got beat by the Chiefs, mainly because of the run game. But how did Jimmy G get there? Mainly because of the run game. The reason I got Kirk Cousins in front of them, is because when Kirk Cousins' team is good, it's because of him. Like, he's a gunslinger. And although you say the Sunday night and the Monday night games, he don't show up, and that is a knock on him. That's why he's outside there. But, when in doubt, when he is on, he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league. He can do it. He's just not consistent at it. And he does got some good weapons. So, Tannehill, I like him at 15. Kirk Cousins is a guy you don't just walk around and get 33 and 7. If Jalen Hurts gets that, I'm throwing a party. You know what I mean? Again, stats got to also translate to winning, right? Because we've seen quarterbacks in the NFL come off. Look, and I don't want to poo-poo on Dak and the Cowboys, but actually I do want to do that because I love doing it. Dak Prescott had 1,000-yard receiver, 1,000-yard rusher, and he was 4,000 yards passing, and had great stats that year, but they were 8-8. So to me, your stats got to translate also to wins, and that's where it kind of hurts Kirk Cousins, where it doesn't hurt Ryan Tannehill and Jimmy Garoppolo. They'll have less stats and more wins. Kirk Cousins will have more stats, less wins, but it is a team game. This is the ultimate team game, and it's tough. But like, Kirk Cousins is no slouch, and that's why I got him at 14. And
I think Kirk Cousins is capable of having a 5,000 passing yard season if he was in the right offense.
Yeah, and then look, the Vikings, although they've been a scrappy team, they just lost their coach, right? So the coach got fired. Kirk Cousins still there. So the Vikings did believe in Kirk Cousins and gave them. And the general manager of the Vikings, they never been like a real salty team. They always had some decent talent. They've been struggling to get a quarterback in there, though. Sam Bradford and all whatnot. Thank you for trading for him and stuff. But at the end of the day, I think Kirk Cousins it's hard. Again, for the people in the chat, you got to remember, this is a list of 32. And when you start getting to the nitty gritty, you got to look at it. Most of the guys from 18, 19, 20, 21 are guys who shown something and then kind of fell off or just getting started. The Mac Jones, Jalen Hurts just getting started. The Carson Wentz, the Matt Ryans, the Jared Goff showed something and fell off. The 16, 15, and 14 for me, Jimmy G, Tannehill, and Cousins, they've been the staple of consistent average quarterbacks. Sometimes they have a good game, sometimes they have a bad game, but they're consistently in that middle pack, and that's why I got 16.
All 15, I keep thinking 14. About every time I look at 16 on my list for Kyler Murray, all I can think about is the way he quit on his team in the playoffs. That's all I can think about. And then demanded a contract after he took himself out of the game. He was horrible down the stretch.
He was bad. He was bad.
Cheeks, buns.
But he came back. Listen again. They rushed him back because they were losing games without him too, and they wanted him back. And he came back a little early. So a guy as little and maybe brittle as Kyler Murray, I don't think he's brittle, but he's not the biggest and strongest guy. Playing with an injury, using your legs, and I don't even know what the injury was. Does anybody in the chat know what his injury was? Because he was. I
know what the injury was in the playoffs. That shit was tiny heart syndrome. I mean, that was tiny wild to me, bro. And we ain't gonna just be calling this man no top 10. Not on my watch, but we're gonna talk about you when we get there. Whatever you doing with him when we get there.
I got you, but here we go. Number 13 and the last one on our list before we do 12 through 1 on the next episode. You got Jimmy G. I got Derek Carr. Give me that Jimmy G above
a lot of people. Jimmy G does more than all of them. Jimmy G performs better in the playoffs than all of these guys and in the regular season. I mean, Jimmy G just has a great record of winning. I mean, I can't put Jimmy G, like the playoff run last year was more impressive than anything Kirk Cousins ever did in the playoffs in his life. You know what I mean? Just the one he did last year. Ryan Tannehill has had a great team around him all the time, and he's incapable of doing what Jimmy G does. Like
championship.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Do I even have to talk about Kyler Murray? I don't have to talk about why Kyler Murray don't win nearly as much as Jimmy G do. Jalen Hurts is self-explanatory. I can go everybody behind Jimmy G. I can tell you why. You know what I mean? I just think Jimmy G is just the prototypical winner. It don't look good all the time, but it happens. That's all I care about. And he do what I care about the most, and that's win.
And listen, I give you that. I give you that. But again, let's look at Cousins, Tannehill, and Murray. What team got the better offensive line? Garoppolo's team. What team had the better weapons down the stretch? Garoppolo's team. Well, Kirk Cousins probably, but Garoppolo over Murray because he didn't have Hopkins. What team had the better coach? Garoppolo did. What better had a better tight end? Garoppolo did. Who had a better front seven? Garoppolo did. So again, we talk about winning and automatically giving it to the quarterback, you got to consider the fact that, you know, Shanahan went to the Super Bowl without Garoppolo, with Matt Ryan. Yes, he lost with Dan Quinn as DC, and it was bad. You know, Shanahan has been, you know, if you look at, you know, anybody,
but didn't Garoppolo get to the Super Bowl without Shanahan?
No, I mean, as the backup on with Brady, he got to the Super Bowl with Shanahan. Shanahan brought him over here from New England. He traded a second-round pick.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, I see what you're saying.
But I agree. Like, it's a fine line, because I'll argue one, and that's why arguing quarterbacks is the hardest things, because you look at the intangibles, you look at now rushing upside, you look at passing upside, you look at the no quit mentality, as you said, tiny heart syndrome. You look at wins and losses, but it is the ultimate team game. And again, as you just said, you know, Jalen Hurts had drops. We're not going to count him for the drops. Well, Jimmy G had tough grabs. We're going to count them. It's just the nature of the game. It's very hard. And I agree, Jimmy G is a winner, no doubt about it. But
I don't know. I think it's just a smidge bit more than just a team game with Jimmy G, because the 49ers record without him is bad. Jimmy G's still on the team. You know what I mean? Jimmy G is still on the team, and with the whole Trey Lance situation going on. You know what I mean? I thought that the plan was to get Trey Lance out of the door and have Jimmy G. I'm sorry to get Jimmy G out of the door and have Trey Lance taken over. But you know, for some strange reason, Jimmy G still
this year. What if that happens this year? Because again, they always said Trey Lance was raw, but he needed a redshirt year, which last year was his redshirt year. What if Trey Lance is starting by week 3? Then how does Jimmy G fit on this list?
I don't know. We're gonna have to look. We got to look at that.
But
we have to wait and see.
LB, I give you credit because you always been preaching a winner. A winner is a winner, and I agree to the point where, like I said, I also said, as much as I want Jalen Hurts to show the stats this year to prove that he can be the quarterback of the future with passing ability, this and the third, I don't want it to sacrifice winning, because, you know, I've seen teams have top 3 offense but not get to the playoffs. I've seen quarterbacks have. Deshaun Watson had one of the best quarterback seasons, and he won 4 games. You see what I'm saying? Like the way they ranked him, he had 4,000 passing yards. He had like abundance of touchdowns. I don't know the exact numbers. Somebody in the comment section, let me know, or if you know, LB, that last year of Deshaun Watson, how many touchdowns, the interceptions, but he had a great year.
It was phenomenal. I think he was second in passing yards too.
And he won 4 games. That is what I don't want for Jalen Hurts.
No, but the Deshaun Watson thing was a little different. We probably ain't got time to dive into that, but he lost a lot of crazy games, and some of them was his fault. He had the ball in his hands. You know what I mean? At the end on a lot of those games. So he was still developing too. He still had a good statistical year.
Yeah, you know, like I said, the quarterback position is the most, it's the toughest to evaluate, because you do got to take wins. Wins don't go solely to the quarterback, but you count them from wins to passing yards to now rushing yards to now, stamp on the game. Like you hear some of these people in the top 100, when they talk about certain quarterbacks, they talk about them like, when we play against this guy, we have to look for this, that, and the third. Like you hear in that top 100, and I know it's a popularity thing, but you really appreciate what these top defenders look at when they're playing certain quarterbacks, and when they're playing other quarterbacks who necessarily have a good team. You know, you might hear somebody like a Tyrann Mathieu like, yo, when we're playing the Niners, I'm worried about watching Kittle. I got to watch that run game, Debo, and all that. And they leave off Jimmy G, and they're playing against, what's it called? They're playing against the Texans last year or 2 years ago, and they're not talking about their skill players. You're saying, how do we just get the ball out of Watson's hands, because he's so electric and he can hold the ball and he can get the ball downfield and he makes his players better. So it's really hard to evaluate.
So in your personal opinion, I know the top 100 ain't come out yet. You don't think Jimmy G is a top 100 player right now?
No.
Okay. Okay. All right. Listen, I respect that.
How many quarterbacks do they normally put on the top 100? I know.
I guess it's just an overall top 100. It's a positionless thing. It's just whoever's the top 100 guy.
Dang, 4,833. So 48, 33, and 7, and then they win 4 games. Like you said, you know, it's a crazy position. And again, we're going more offensive heavily, offense is easier to come by now because of all the rule changes. But I'm liking this list. And again, this is round 2, 22-13. And again, me and LB behind the scenes will get that final draft after the last one, which is 12 to number 1. And I got to say this, for as much as we hate Dallas, we have not put Dak Prescott on the, we're not going to tell y'all where we got him. That's for next episode. But Dak Prescott has not been mentioned. So we only got 12 through 1. We're going to see where me and LB got Dak Prescott and the rest of them boys. They got some great towns coming up. This is where it gets to the nitty gritty. You got the Mahomes, the Herberts, the Josh Allens, the Lamar Jacksons, the Aaron Rodgers, the Tom Brady's who never go away. He thought he was done and he come back for another season. So it's going to be a good one.
It's still live.
Yeah. I just took the thing.
Oh, I was like,
with that being said, we just hit an hour. We about to get up out of here. What do you got going on for the rest of the week?
Nothing, man. I gotta really think about my top 12 because I don't want my top 12 to change. Even though I know our top 12 is going to be different, I want it to change as least as possible because I already got some corrections I'm thinking about making. But other than that, just Eagles rumors, content, same old, same old.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we will be, talking our talk. A lot of stuff coming. OTAs already taking place. We're gonna have them team practices to be lit. Go Talk is gonna start being more regular, weekly. We'll get some stuff going. We'll have some other content creators coming on. We are live on both channels, so make sure you hit that like. Check out a video if you don't know the other person. We don't know how, but it is what it is. We appreciate y'all.
Facts. And check the last episode of Goat Talk for the list that you guys might have missed if this is your first time catching this. The bottom 32.
Yep. Peace.